Good evening. My name is Mark Kleinhans. I'm the Bedford School Superintendent. I know most of the folks that are here. Most of the folks that are here have been with us for all five. This will be number 6 of the walkthrough. So I do appreciate your commitment to this process, and I appreciate you coming tonight, especially when it's certainly a lot warmer out there right now than what it's been for the last couple of days. Oh, except for the people in the back row that went south for the spring break. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. This is Paul Terrio from Plant Moran Cressa, and most of you know Paul as well. This tour is going to be a little bit different. As you know, when we went through the other buildings, we really focused on the deficits of the building and the issues. We're still going to do that here with this building, but you're also going to see some things that I think you'll notice a little bit different about our other elementaries, and Paul will get to that once we get into those areas. So it'll be just a little bit different. The format for this evening, and we do have a board member, Lisa, raise your hand. She's also chair of the Yes for Success, and Don Blaze is here. Don is also chair of the Yes for Success. This is Mickey Kent. Mickey, and these are his kids that are broadcasting this. He teaches TV broadcasting. And Sandy Crane is here. She's marketing. And so just come on in and have a seat. That'll be good. And again, I welcome everybody. The plan for this building is to spend approximately $6.4 million to upgrade this facility. One of the reasons why, and of course I wasn't here, as you know I'm new, but one of the reasons why this building was closed initially is because of its size. And it's not as large as the other elementaries. So one of the, when you think $6.4 million to renovate, well, to build a new elementary, it's about $14 million. So in the plan, we felt that it was better to reutilize this facility. It is newer than the other elementaries. It is built with block, and we'll show you metal up on the roofs. And so its design lends itself to being upgraded. And if you were able to see the slideshows that are on the web page, you can see that architects would walk in here, and you'd be amazed what they could do with this building to really bring it up to snuff and make it look almost like brand new. So this is going to be a little bit different. I said 6.4. Major part of this would be a 4-classroom addition, so it could accommodate the size. And Paul will speak to that once we get around. Safe entryways, we'll talk about that. All new mechanical, we'll talk about that, and we'll get through there. This is Tim Brakel. Tim is also on our Board of Education. He's our Vice President. Welcome, Tim. So I'm quite pleased we have a couple of board members here to answer any questions. So we're going to go on a tour, and then we're going to come back here, and we're going to do Q&A. This is the last tour before the election, as you know, and so we'll answer any questions, do the best we can. Again, if we don't have the answer, we'll try to get you the answer before the election. So with that, Paul, maybe just a little bit about Plant, and we'll take it from there.
Thanks, Mark. So as Mark mentioned, I'm Paul Terrio with Plant Moran Cressa. We are a program management firm. Most people probably think of Plant Moran as an accounting firm or corporate services firm. The group that I work with is about 45, 50 people. We do nothing but manage large capital projects, bond projects for school districts, hospitals, senior living, corporate industrial stuff. My group, we're working in probably about a dozen school districts right now, anywhere from $1 million a year sinking fund that we're helping manage up to a $195 million bond issue in Livonia. So we do a lot of school construction, and we really know, the design, the construction, all the implementation that goes into the furnishings and security systems and things like that. So that's kind of my area of expertise is K-12 construction and design. Sure.
Just the overall plan, and I think I forgot to mention, the plan is to upgrade this facility, move DRE over to here. The kids, the staff, the students, pick them up and move them over here. And I want to make sure I get that piece in so everybody understands that.
Yep.
And then DRE would be, that facility would be taken down. So this essentially would be the new home. Now we're talking a couple years out. This is a lengthy process, but 2 to 3 years probably to do the construction. Maybe
it depends.
2?
It depends.
1 to 2, maybe somewhere in there. So just so you have an idea of the overall plan on that.
Yep. So when I came out to the district last fall, we were hired to do an assessment to help look at the sinking fund and what needed to be done. So we walked all the district buildings. We went up on the roofs. We walked the sites, boiler rooms, classrooms, pretty much looked at everything. And I can tell you when I walked Douglas, I certainly noted a lot of deficiencies over there. When I walked this building, I really said to myself, why did they close this building and keep that one open? And I think Mark hit the nail on the head. The biggest issue is the size. I think there's only about 25 or 26 classrooms in this building, and I don't think they were all used as classrooms. I think some of them were divided up for resource rooms and other things like that. I think if this building was larger, I think it would have stayed open. It has a lot of amenities that the other one doesn't. It's got terrazzo floors throughout, which you can see in here, which lasts forever, along with all this nice glazed tile, which color schemes change from decade to decade, but it's pretty much indestructible. You'll see in a couple classrooms, this building is all structural steel, so steel joist, steel deck. There's no wood timber framing in here at all, which is great. A lot of the classrooms actually all the classrooms are considerably larger than they are over at Douglas, which really helps instructionally, especially when you break out some of the lower grade levels into different activities on the floor and into smaller groups. A lot of the classrooms here have bathrooms in the classrooms, which Douglas does not, which is a big help for the teachers when, letting one child go at a time or two at a time versus standing out in the hallway for half an hour at a time while the kids cycle through is instructionally a big advantage. So there's a lot of different things like that as well. We're going to kind of walk around and look at some of them. Obviously, I mentioned that this building, I believe, was closed because it wasn't big enough for an elementary school. So one of the things we talked about doing is putting an addition on this building. Right now, we're guessing it's going to be about 4 classrooms, so obviously we need to sit down. We have your enrollment numbers currently, but we're going to want to sit down and get the end of the summer. Once we get an architect on board, we're going to want to look at enrollment in the fall. Do we need 4 classrooms, 5, 3? Take a look at that. Take a look at what other issues this building might have. Maybe we need an extra conference room. Maybe we need some other spaces like that. And really spend about a year programming, designing, getting this thing exactly right before we start construction. So as Mark said, as far as the timing goes, we'd be looking at hiring architects and construction managers this summer, and then we'd be looking at designing all the way through. I would hope we would bid this out sometime next spring, and then construction could either be fast-tracked to try to get open maybe in January, or January of 2015, or it could be, January of 2016, or it could be looking at the fall of 2016 to open this facility back up. So it just depends on, how much we want to, do we want to work 2 shifts? Do we want to work a single shift, work Saturdays? There's different cost versus time issues there to be weighed out. So really that's kind of an overview of kind of what we saw when we walked through. So this building does have a lot of needs still. $6.4 million is a lot of money. And you'll see as we walk through, there's a lot of systems in here. Even though the structure of this building is very good and solid, there are still a lot of old things that need to be replaced, from old light fixtures that are kind of obsolete, from old mechanical systems that are original to the building that just don't function very well and aren't efficient. There's old single pane windows. The roof on this building is about 17 or 18 years old. So there are a lot of things that need to be done to bring this thing up, but I think Mark's right. I think with that investment, this building will be like a brand new school. And to be honest, brand new schools don't even have classrooms this big typically, which is a big advantage, I think, that this facility has. So with that, unless you can think of anything else, I did want to kind of tour through. Sure.
We could start here.
Yep.
One of the concerns I think that Paul has is the size of this. As you know, when we met in both Jackman and Douglas, the cafeteria areas are smaller, so we probably...
Yeah, it's something we would need to look at. Where the addition would go, it would likely go out this way, or potentially off the back wing on this side to kind of mirror the Spring Arbor wing over there, if you want to call it that. So potentially we'd be looking at expanding the building this way, which means we could add on to the cafeteria as part of that, depending on, again, how many students are in the building, how many lunch periods, some of the similar serving line issues, although this, I think, does have a serving line that's tucked out of the kitchen area. I don't know if it's totally used that way or if it has been, but so we have to look at some of those things. And as I mentioned before, we've got a lot of questions about, well, exactly how is this going to be, or exactly how is that going to be. There is a lot of design work to be done. There's 9 months to 18 months worth of design work to be done to completely figure everything out. And also, we want to get a lot of input from people, so we don't want to just bring in an architect and have him design how he thinks it needs to work or they think it needs to work. We want them to figure out how does it need to function for the students of the building, the staff of the building, the community, how is that going to work, and how can we make it as functional as possible. So.
And currently, just so you know, as we walk around, we do have some programming here. Paul talked about Spring Arbor. We rent a facility to Spring Arbor, and we're going to kind of sneak back in there. They're having classes, but they know we're coming, so I think it'll give the students a break. They were almost falling asleep. No, they weren't. I can't say that. But so we're going to do that. Also, our robotics is in the gymnasium, so we're going to kind of go in the gym, but you'll see they just got done with a huge, was it national, no, state? Yeah, worldwide competition, and so when we get in there, you'll see that they just got done. I mean, they literally put their stuff down and kind of move out. We're going to stick our head in there, and so you can see the gymnasium in that area. We also run some GSRP, some of the very little programs out of here, and those rooms are kind of in the back. Those are ISD rooms, but we do use this facility, which is good. But you'd be amazed what they can do with this. They would come in here and make this look brand new. So with that, where do we want to start?
Probably go down to the main entrance, I think, and
Okay,
kind of talk
we'll head
about
down to
some
the
of
main
the security
entrance.
issues.